Hi, I'm Amanda, and today we're talking about negative thoughts and other limiting beliefs that are keeping you blocked from your creative success. I'm going to break down the top 4 that I see repeated and perpetuated among creative circles, and I'm going to give you some tools to neutralize and stop them so you can start changing the world with your joy. Okay, so let me preface this video by first saying that it hinges on the idea that our thoughts create our reality. If this is something that you're unfamiliar with, then this video might not resonate with you. But my guess is that most of you in the Awakened Creators community jive with this understanding that if you think it, you become it, and our thoughts are really the fuel behind our ability to create a life that we want. And that's why tackling these negative thoughts and limiting beliefs is so important, because it could be the difference between you actually achieving your dreams and you just sitting there in a pile of mush crying to yourself, which I've done, so don't feel bad about it. All right, so with that said, let's dive in with negative thought number 4. All right, so negative thought number 4 is any kind of variation of creating as being hard. Writing is hard. Art is hard. Filmmaking is hard. You hear it over and over again. I'm guilty of saying it. I'm sure you are too. But really what happens here when we say that something is hard, or when we associate it with a long and arduous process and timeline, is that we limit our possibilities for opportunities. And what I mean by that is if you can perceive of the incredible, then you allow opportunity for the incredible to happen. But if your idea of success only comes after, say, 20, 30 years of nose to the grindstone, barely making it by, then chances are that's actually going to be what happens for you. Now, of course, we don't want to be naive and disregard any of the processes that are necessary for getting better at your craft. Of course, we all have to learn, we all have to get better and better through the years. But by really boxing it in and saying that it has to happen in this certain way, or that it has to be difficult, limits the possibility that an opportunity could come by that actually makes it easy for you to advance to that next step. Now, of course, we idolize people who seem to mysteriously become discovered overnight and their careers are launched into the stratosphere by little effort of their own. But hey, those things do happen and they are a possibility. And I guarantee you the people that they happen to are not people who strictly believe that creation and success in creation must happen along this long timeline. Okay, so be mindful the next time you're thinking of that, and remember that you could be limiting possibilities for yourself by thinking in such strict terms. All right, now negative thought number 3 that I see perpetuated among creatives, and I don't even know where this one came from. I think it originated probably in the 80s and 90s, maybe even before that, and it just kind of seems to keep going. And that's this idea that having any kind of creative success means you have to sell out. And a lot of people keep themselves blocked from their success because they've got this idea that in order to be successful, they have to give away some piece of their authenticity, of their vision, of their dream of who they are and what their art really means, or what their work really means to them. And I say this idea is bullshit. And the reason that it's bullshit is because in that instance that you are saying that, you're essentially giving your power away to the powers that be. Usually the people that are saying these things about selling out are concerned about the man and the capital T, they that control everything. But the thing is, if you're not willing to put your art out there or your work out there that actually could change people's perspectives on the society that we live in, on the way that we live our day-to-day lives, then you're as much feeding into the system as they are by letting your fear keep you quiet and keep you sheltered. You've got an incredible gift. All of you do. That's why you're part of this Awakened Creators community. And I'm here to remind you that as long as you keep that talent under wraps, it's not going to do anything for anybody, including yourself. Okay? So make sure that the next time you think that you're selling out by receiving some kind of compensation for the incredible work that you're doing, remember that you're giving your power away to others when you do that. Instead of standing in an empowered position and saying, you know what, I know who I am and I know where my boundaries are, and I consider and I'm open to the opportunities that come to me because I trust in my ability to discern between what I want to do and what I feel pressured to do. Okay? So just remember that you are constantly in control of your life. No one else has that control over you, and you get to decide when and how you are compensated for your work. Okay, we wouldn't want to make a living doing what they love, right? So don't close yourself off from that opportunity by believing that in doing so you would be selling out. Now, negative thought number 2, and we're getting close to the top one, and then I'm going to give you some solutions for dealing with all of these, so stay tuned. Negative thought number 2 that I see has to deal with worthiness, and this usually arises after some kind of creative disappointment. Now, we can be disappointed in our own work a lot of the times. We can also have an experience in the external world that makes us feel disappointed in our work. And so anytime you hear this, well, maybe I'm just not good at writing, or I got a bad critique, so maybe I'm just not meant to be a painter. Okay? These ideas, when you're faced with this disappointment, is to initially stop believing in our abilities. Okay? Now, I recently made a video about self-belief, and I'll link to it here, because if this is something you find yourself saying to yourself a lot, then you certainly want to check that out and see how you can shore up your self-belief a little bit. But let's see. Self-belief. All right, so the key with this negative thought is to remember that we're always progressing in our creative journey, okay? But where we are at right now in this moment, in our skill set, in our abilities, is exactly where we need to be, okay? Now, I've heard this quote before, and I don't know who said it, but it's not to compare your beginning to someone else's middle. And I think that that is really important here. Each of our creative journeys is completely unique to us. I mean, we started with different backgrounds, we start with different interests, and we progress forward on our own personal timeline of developing our skills, developing our abilities, and building our confidence in ourselves, okay? So anytime that you get a critique or you feel some sense of creative disappointment in yourself, remember that more than likely what you're doing is your expectation of yourself is up here, and your actual skill set and level and abilities is right here, okay? So what you need to do, and it's hard to do, but you need to lower your expectations. And this is where having that beginner's mind and that whole concept really comes from, is being able to see it as this unfolding and childlike process of curiosity and wonder. And if you can transition yourself to that idea that I'm a child in this and I'm just learning, and the more and more that I play around with these ideas and these lessons and these concepts, the better and better I'll get at these things. And it really is so true. I mean, I like to remind myself a lot that every great started where I was. Every great writer, every great content creator, anybody whom I admire for their creativity started at zero and had to figure it out as they went along, okay? So remember that you're on that same journey too, but your journey is not their journey. Your journey is yours, and you are exactly at the right place where you need to be right now, okay? I also have created a video on contentment. So I think that if you're having issues kind of feeling comfortable in your abilities where they are right now, that's probably a good one to check out. So you can really start to sink into feeling comfortable with your current state. The last one, the number one negative thought that is blocking you from your creative success, drum roll please, comparing yourself to others. So any variation of, I'll never be as good as blank. This is gotta be the number one killer of any creative pursuit, is the comparison of yourself to others. Not even any creative pursuit. Comparing ourselves to others has meant the death of so many people's dreams. I mean, in the age of social media, it's difficult not to see everybody else seemingly living these wonderful, fabulous lives and you not, okay? But when we're talking about creative pursuits and creative success, comparing yourself to others is like the kiss of death, okay? In doing this, you're essentially saying, and it really relates to number two, is that I'm not okay where I'm at. What it's also doing is giving your power away, just like some of the other negative thoughts that we talked about. When you compare yourself to others, remember that the individual that you put in that blank, in that sentence, I'm not as good as blank, you are the one who is putting that individual on a pedestal. You are the one that is identifying them as something greater than themselves. So remember, at the beginning we preface this conversation with thoughts create reality. If you perceive someone to be better than yourself, they will continue to be better than you, and you will never measure up. Now, this isn't to say you can't be inspired by talented people, but when that inspiration turns into idolization, that's when you get into hot water, and that's when you start giving your power away. And I don't want to see any disempowered artists and creators out there. I want to see people believing in their abilities. All right, so those were your top 4 negative thoughts that are blocking you from creative success. I encourage you to start battling these thoughts, but how are you going to do that? Let me give you 3 solutions. Okay, solution number 1 is mindfulness and awareness. You can't start tackling your negative thoughts if you aren't quick enough to catch them in the act. And that's where cultivating mindfulness and awareness of your thought patterns really is going to be key. I encourage every creative individual to start cultivating a meditation practice. It is probably the best and easiest thing you will ever do in your life that will assist you in living a more fulfilling and enriching experience. But the main reason why I want you to start cultivating meditation is because you need to be able to observe your thoughts and be aware of them in order to start combating them. You can't do that if the record just plays and plays and plays and kind of takes over your thought processes and patterns. Now, I've already am building a library of meditations for you to listen to that are geared towards the kind of things that you're pursuing as a creative individual. But of course, there's tons of other resources available online, and I encourage you to use them. Download an app, whatever you can do to try to cultivate better awareness of your thought patterns so you can start questioning and combating these negative thoughts. All right, so solution number 2, we're going to start tackling these negative thoughts at their very core. And how do you battle self-hate? With self-love. It might sound cheesy, but compassion and self-love are the keys to getting rid of these negative thoughts and replacing them with more compassionate and positive ones. Now, to help you do that, I've designed an affirmations video that I recommend you listen to anytime these negative thoughts are circling in your mind, or if you want to commit to really changing, I would say to listen to it every day for 21 days and see your belief in yourself, your understanding of where you're at, and your negative thought patterns start to dissipate, and really for your life to start changing. It's a super short video. Don't have to spend a lot of time. It's under 10 minutes. But if you just listen to that every morning, kind of pump yourself up, feel good about yourself before you start your day, I guarantee you that it's going to make you feel better. It's going to help you start to get rid of these negative thoughts and replace them with positive ones. So check it out. Now, the last solution I'm going to give you is one you're already doing, and that's prioritizing your personal growth. By watching this video and videos like it, you are saying to the universe, I want to be better. I want to live a more fulfilling and enriching life, and I know I have the power to make that happen, so I'm going to start learning. Now that's fabulous. I encourage you to continue watching videos like these or similar ones, taking courses, reading books. And actually, I was thinking about doing a video about my top book recommendations on this subject of creativity and living a more enriched creative life. So if that interests you, let me know. I'm going to put up a poll right here, kind of get the pulse on what people are thinking. If that interests you, let me know, and I'll get a video on my top book recommendations for living a more enriching creative life. Alright, so that's it for this video. If you haven't yet subscribed to join the Awakened Creators tribe, go ahead and hit that button and the bell so you're notified every time new content's uploaded each week. And leave a comment below. Let me know which negative thought you find yourself plagued by. And also, give the affirmations video a try for 21 days and let me know in the comments, and the rest of the community know how it's going. And if you're finding yourself changing your thought patterns and feeling more positive about your creative life. Remember, here in Awakened Creators, we're here to help you remove your blocks, realign with your highest vision, and start changing the world with your joy. So get rid of those negative thoughts, replace them with positive affirmations, and get out there and start doing what you were meant to do, which is change the world through your joy. Take care.